bars and say, when do I get hungry? If you eat 150 calories and you're hungry in an hour, you're burning at least 150 calories an hour. Right? And that should be your goal, then at least to get that many calories a day. Just about everybody here, except for the little one over here, should have 1,600 to 2,400 calories per day. Okay? Most of us don't eat enough. Okay? And then our body doesn't have enough calories to function. Just because you have weight doesn't mean that you eat too much. Okay? It just means that you eat inappropriately. You have big meals all at once, and your body doesn't know what to do with the calories, so it has to stick it somewhere. It shoves it in the closet. Unfortunately, the closet hangs on you. Right? So you just happen to, that's where the weight comes from. The weight comes from too many calories at one time. The other place where the weight comes from is from too many carbohydrates at one time. So, who here drinks coffee or tea? Okay? What happens if you have coffee and tea after a meal versus having it first thing in the morning? Which time do you enjoy your coffee the most?
First thing in the morning.
Yeah, on an empty stomach. But after your meal, it doesn't have the same effect. So if you put one of you, if you need a treat or something because your diet is boring, then you always put it as a reward at the end of the meal. You have your coffee at the end of the meal. Because then what happens? The bulk of the food releases the caffeine or the sugar slowly. If it releases the caffeine or the sugar fast, your blood sugar will spike. When your blood sugar spikes, out comes the insulin. Okay? The insulin doesn't know that you just had coffee. You know, people drink black coffee and say, well, that's better because I'm not eating any sugar. Black coffee goes to your adrenals and releases sugar. Okay? So drink black coffee and let your body release sugar that you have stored in your liver. Or drink coffee with sugar and you don't have to go after your liver. Either way. When the sugar spikes and the insulin goes right after it, the insulin generally overshoots. So first of all, you drink your coffee, now you have this boost from, oh, I think I can do everything. And then shortly after your coffee, the insulin comes out and it drops it back down. And pretty soon, you're down over here, nobody loves you, you have no energy, nothing works, I think I'll go to bed, okay? Until you decide you eat something else and you just go up again. Every time when your blood sugar goes up and down because of your food choices. When you're low and when you're high, that's the stress. So that right away, that stresses your cortisol. Then right away, then affects your hormones. Okay? So now you have that has an effect on your, ladies, on your monthly cycle. Your eating habits can affect your monthly cycle because you're just jerking your cortisol up and down. Okay? So we can just give ourselves as much food stress as we can get by getting a letter from the IRS in the mail. And that's not April 15th, your rebate. That's the other kind of letter. Okay? So you just want to look at what you're doing. So what do? I look at all foods. They're either fast, like paper in a fireplace. Fruit is one. Okay? Fruit is a 30-minute meal. If you think that fruit lasts any longer, then you better have some more fruit, because fruit doesn't last very long. And starches last maybe, what are starches? Potatoes, bread, sweet potatoes, pasta, rice, beans, all of those. Those are starches. Those are maybe 2.5 hours. And then your proteins, they burn a nice long time like oak in a fireplace. So that's your meat, your fish, your chicken, your turkey, your eggs. And then finally your fats. Your fats are like green wood. Okay? So that's why if you go to a party and they have these little cheese things out and these crackers, and you eat the cheese, it doesn't satisfy you. Because fat doesn't burn very easily. The crackers are the ones that turn your hunger off. But by the time your hunger is turned off, you already have to eat enough cheese for 2 weeks. Okay? Because it doesn't turn your hunger off. But cheese with a meal, or fat with a meal, whether it's nuts or nut butters, will make your meal last. So if you say, I'm going to lose weight and eat 0 fat, you're going to actually be hungry all the time, eat too much, spike your blood sugar, and gain weight. Okay? Because you're just making too much, you have too much carbohydrate at once. So at this, I'm going to leave it kind of here, and anybody can ask any questions now.
So the cracker and the cheese isn't enough? Cracker with the cheese?
No, the cracker and the cheese is fine.
It's just cheese by itself?
better than the cheese by itself. Yeah.
And I have a couple questions, but I get my turn. Thinking about organic fruits and vegetables, we also will like buy just regular fruits and vegetables, but we'll buy that stuff like, I think it's called Fix or different things from Walmart that like you can spray on, they're supposed to take off the chemicals and everything. I always wash my fruits and vegetables in that. Is that really helping? Or
That helps some, but these lists, like the environmental working group, they take that into consideration. The fruit already cut, already peeled, and so on. So it's one grade. So you just start looking as to what, and then you don't have to do that for all fruits and vegetables. There's some that are really sprayed really badly and others aren't. So you just always pick and choose which one are the best ones.
other people have questions, don't take turns?
Okay?
I've been a vegetarian for over 20 years now, and I didn't become a vegetarian for health reasons, but it seems like within the last few years I've had more and more doctors or people of, in the health field telling me I need to eat meat, and it's that I'm hurting myself by not getting those proteins.
It's harder probably on you as a vegetarian than to get enough good quality protein, okay? Because you may not get the full balance of it. The other thing is that sometimes we may not digest it as well, okay? And so we just look at it. So there are simple things. We could see, for example, a finger stick amino acid test and see if you're low on amino acids, okay? Something like $150. There's lots of different tests that you can do to see if your lifestyle is sustaining yourself, okay? And your choices of food, then we look at those. Okay? Generally speaking, you need to eat about twice as much carbohydrate, proteins such as beans and rice, then you would have to eat meats to get the same protein value. Okay? So that means that you may be getting many more calories than a person who eats a meat product. Okay? And if you're not working those calories off, where did they go? Okay? So I have no objection to you being a vegetarian. It's just a little bit tougher for you. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't even know about the water bottle thing until today when I went. My daughter goes to school and she uses a plastic water bottle, and I went to a certain place to buy a certain one, and they said that they're not going to be selling those anymore because EPA. Don't really even know yet. Haven't done the research to find out really what they're talking about. But you have a child at school, like she has POTS or with staff intolerance, and they encourage her to drink. She really doesn't do it much anyway, but so you can't send a glass bottle. So what do you suggest?
Metal container.
Just
Stainless
stainless
steel.
steel?
Yeah.
Okay, that's as good as.
That way it's a good weapon so she can hit.
Okay.
Stainless steel.
I had a question. I take thyroid medication, so I've gotten used to not eating right away in the morning until my medication is absorbed. And you were saying eat early to avoid getting hungry, but often for up to 2 hours after I get up, I'm not hungry at all.
Yeah.
So it seems like, why should I eat then?
Because the longer you keep waiting, the further your metabolism goes down. Remember, it's running on nothing. Okay, that's like losing your job and thinking you're going to get a job, and you don't get a job, and your spending is going to go lower, 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 and lower. And for most medications, 1 hour is sufficient. Most thyroid medications, they will say 2 hours, 1 hour is generally more than sufficient. What they really want you to see is to see that you do it consistently. Okay? Because when they test you for the blood work, they look for consistent values. Okay? So if you're not hungry, basically your metabolism will keep going down. Yeah. So then you just get in the habit. 1 hour, 2 hours, if you want to wait 2 hours, you need to eat. You just need to stop the slide. Okay, your turn. You did really good. Oh, I can't see you behind me.
Go ahead.
I was reading something I was a little bit confused about, and it was talking about how glucose draws fluid, I don't know, from your blood maybe? I'm not sure. And it sounded like, I began to wonder if my glucose is low, because it